Sounds like we're good.
All right, we got a room full of working mics. We got a room full of great fans of Star Trek Discovery out there. All right. Well, I am John T. Bulbs. I'm one of the hosts of Open Pike Night podcast.
I am Cameron Harrison. I'm also a host of Open Pike Night podcast.
And if you haven't heard Open Pike Night podcast yet, we're like the only Star Trek podcast out there. How could you not have heard of us? I mean, what's going on, folks? But we're here today to host the Let's Fly, a Star Trek Discovery Spotlight podcast. We're having a discussion tonight, and we want to welcome you all to our panel, and thank you for coming. It's a little chilly in here, so we're going to heat it up, but I just got to say thank you to Trek Long Island, to all of the organizers, to Melissa, the stage manager, to Flash, working tech tonight. Thank you, everybody, to all of the volunteers out there, to our friend Mark, to everybody who's at every desk helping folks. Like, let's give them all a huge round of applause. So, if you have not heard Open Pike Night, we are a call-in podcast. We have our listeners. We put the word out when we get a guest. We do a lot of interviews, or when we're talking about a Strange New Worlds episode, because those come out all the time. But we put out the word about 3-4 days ahead of time. Say, send us your thoughts. Send us a 90-second clip. It's very easy. You turn on your voice recorder in your phone, record a file, email it to us, and we play it, and we sort of help those guide our conversation. And also, if we're having one of the cast members or crew members call in, send your thoughts, send praise, you wouldn't believe the looks of joy on their faces when they hear we just say, oh, here's somebody else from around the world telling you how awesome you are. They love it. It's a great time, and it's great participation in our podcast, and we couldn't be more appreciative. We're also Open Pike Night, an Open Pike Night themed podcast. So we do ask every one of our guests to tell us a joke at the end of the recording. We warn them ahead of time. We don't spring it on them. Sometimes we spring it on them because if we went through a representative, they may not hear the word that they're supposed to bring a joke, but they always bring something pretty good. So I figured, we're here tonight. We're not going to spring it on our so I'll tell the joke tonight. So, a Vulcan, a human, a Breen, and an Orion walk into a bar. Bartender looks at them and says, "That joke killed on Betazoid." Cam, you got this. I guess we gotta keep more jokes, John. I don't have any more jokes. That was my whole joke.
But you will also have a chance to ask your questions. We'll have the mic. I think we're going to be down stage left, your right, down here. We'll give you a heads up on when we're going to open up to the audience about halfway through.
Yeah, and so in true Open Pike Night, in true Open Pike Night spirit, please make sure you bring your best questions, your best comments, show appreciation for our guests tonight. If you have not seen season 5 of Discovery, what have you been doing? I mean, it literally just ended the day before this convention. And we have a bunch of the cast here tonight. So let's introduce them. Let's bring our guests on.
Ready? Let's bring them on. All right. I see Orville Cummings, Lieutenant William Christopher.
All right.
Tara Rosling, Tarina herself. Janet Kidder, Osira. I'm pretty intimidated right now. And Elias Toufexis is Locke. Thanks so much for coming, guys. I want to make sure I can see you all.
Hello.
All right, well, let's start before we dive headlong into Star Trek, which is why we're all here. We like to go back a little bit. I want to ask each of you how you got into acting. What gave you the bug? Just your quick bio. We'll start down there with Elias.
Oh, I always, there was nothing else I really had any intention of doing since I was a little kid. I think it was, and this is not because I'm here, but I just wanted to be Captain Kirk. That's all I wanted to do. And I didn't know what that meant, so until I studied acting, I just thought, I'm going to end up on TV somehow. And William Shatner and I literally grew up on the same street. So he was always kind of a hero of mine because of that. And and then I just, it was always going to be an actor. It was never anything else. And I eventually learned what it actually meant, and went to school and did all that, and then just hit the ground running and the grind until you just get the job that help you pay the bills. That's what ended up happening with me, pretty simple.
I had the pleasure, I guess, of being on the set of Superman with my aunt when I was young. Hey! And so that inspired me, and I never ever wanted to do anything else either. It's like once you get the bug, sadly, it gets right under your skin, and there's no way of making it go away. So yeah, that's what happened for me.
I'm just going to preface by saying my name's Tara. It's okay, everybody's doing it today. On a whim, when I was 13, I decided I really wanted to take an acting class, and my mom and my grandmother pooled their resources, and I went to some obscure modeling agency in Vancouver where they had a class in acting. I had an amazing teacher. She gave me a monologue, coached me a little bit. It was the most exhilarating thing I'd ever experienced, and I decided I wanted to be an actor.
Mic check 2 1 2. Y'all hear me? All right, cool. So I grew up in a small island called Jamaica, and I grew up as an only child. Thank you. Big up Jamaica. And I've always had this like big imagination, and subconsciously I knew I always wanted to be a performer, but it was never presented to me as something that I could do as a career until I came to Canada. And a friend of mine, I asked him, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" He's like, "An actor." I'm like, You could do that? You could just decide? And he's just like, "Yeah, what do you want to be?" An actor. And ever since I did that, I've been taking drama, went to school, took classes, and I've never looked back. And I couldn't decide what I wanted to do as a career outside of acting. And I'm like, there's so much to choose from. Why don't you just choose all of them? Because as an actor, you have no limit to what you can become in this life. And I love humans and I love psychology. I'm like, it has every one of my interests in one career. So there's no way I would do anything else aside from this.
Can I ask real quick, what is your Tribble's name?
Oh, my Tribble. Oh, man. Turn him on? Okay, you guys want to hear him?
Oh yeah.
How'd you get into acting?
Tribble, how do you get into... Oh, dang, okay. All right.
Ask him what his problem with Klingons is.
For now, this Tribble is called Milo. See, that's his name. He loves that. There's a popular drink in Jamaica that I grew up drinking, and it was the same color as him, so that's his name.
That is fantastic, and that's what we know how y'all got started. And now that Discovery's done, and you have all played your parts on this incredible series, if you could pick up the phone and call yourselves the day you got offered a role and to be part of Star Trek and part of Star Trek Discovery, what would you tell, ask, say? What would you say to yourself if you could talk to them on that day?
You guys looking at me? I'll talk. I think I would take it a little further, and I would tell my 15-year-old self that I was going to shut up. That I was going to be on. I was going to be on Star Trek. I would, there's footage out there that I've posted of me on a little bridge that I made in my friend's basement in a captain's chair doing a TV show that we made of Star Trek when I was 14 or 15. So I imagine going back and telling that kid, like going home that day, going like, dude, I know you're just pretending, but you're gonna sit on the actual bridge pretty soon of the Enterprise, not pretty soon, 20 years or so. And just be patient, and that would blow my mind back then. It was blowing my mind just showing up every day to work. Never mind just telling my 15-year-old self. Yeah, it's great.
Excellent.
I guess I would. That was not Osiris' voice. I guess I would say to never give up, and you never know what's around the corner. So follow your dreams and keep going. If you follow your heart and do this crazy thing in life, then I don't think you can be let down. Had I known I was going to sit in the captain's chair, much to everyone's distaste, I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to get to do that. How fun. Yeah, that's it.
This is to the Tara that booked the gig. Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess I would say just wait because it's going to become one of the most extraordinary adventures in TV land that you've ever had. Because when I initially booked the role of Trina, first of all, I didn't know she was Vulcan or president, but I did know that it was for one episode, and what it blossomed into, I never could have imagined. And it's I'm sure you've all heard, the entire cast and crew are extraordinary human beings, led by Sonequa, who has a heart of gold and is exceedingly generous. And it just truly was a joy to come to work. Yeah.
I've never been on such a happy set in my life. Across the board, every single person on there every day was so thrilled to come to work. So it's an amazing experience.
If I were to call myself and say, I would say, "You're going to space, boy! You're going to space, boy!" Oh man. Because growing up, I loved sci-fi, and I've never gotten much opportunity to audition for sci-fi shows. So this was my first audition for a sci-fi show, and they were very vague about it, that it was Star Trek, but I do my research and I figured it out. And I kind of wish I didn't, because then I got really nervous. I'm like, this is Star Trek. But if I could call myself again, I would say you're going to Space Boy, but also everything you've worked for, everything you believed in yourself to be true, is going to come into fruition, and it's going to become tangible for you, and it's because you never gave up, and this is a moment that you want to keep going. So Orville, this is your reward for keep believing in yourself, for all the work you've done, and if you keep doing it, there's more to come.
That's excellent.
All right, well, I want to talk smooching a little bit. So Tara and Elias, you both had kissing scenes on each side of...
Not with each other, as far as I
No,
remember.
but
Did we have something that was offset? Yeah. That was
could you tell under all those prosthetics? And that's the point. So you've lots of prosthetics. Does that make a kissing scene more awkward or less awkward?
I'll say this, that 9 times out of 10, my lips ended up stuck to Eve. So, yeah, it was not easy. Especially the hotter it was, the more my face would come off after every kiss. No, it was hard. It was much more difficult for her, I'm sure. So she's got to kiss this weird thing. Yeah, it's not a difficult hardship to kiss Eve, but it was very sticky and gross. And I'm glad it came across. And they didn't do a really good close-up of the kiss because it would have looked weird. But it would have made sense because like the brine are kind of jelly, so he couldn't hold it together, and it was sticky because he was so turned on or something. There's some fanfic out there you guys can write. I'm sure.
Do not Google.
No, do it. Don't listen to him. Do it.
Yeah, Tara, any thoughts on the other side of the prosthetics? Kissing Suru?
Well, I have to say, when I read the script, I was a bit reluctant about the idea of not kissing Doug Jones, but of kissing a rubber prosthetic, in terms of how it would sell, how it would come across. And I did talk to Doug about it, and he reassured me. He's like, "You've seen Shape of Water, right?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, I kissed Sally Hawkins in that, and did it sell?" And I was like, "Yes." I just had to trust on the day that when they shot the scene and they said they were happy that it looked realistic. And I haven't seen the finale yet, so I don't actually know what it looks like. But totally works.
It's also weird because Saru doesn't have any lips. Like he has no lips. It must have been very, very tricky. Yeah.
We love the chin boop. The chin boop. Was that written or was that
The
improvised?
chin boop?
I think the chin was something that maybe we did early on, and Doug had a recollection of that, and so he said, "Why don't we bring that back as a signature gesture between the two of them?"
Excellent. So,
Just putting her finger on his little chin boot. It's very sexy, Janet.
well, you have plenty of time to practice those, because now that Discovery is over, and as you look out on this crowd, I mean, you are now part of not just a pop culture, but a culture. And how does it feel knowing you're always going to be welcomed like this?
There's no fan base that is as welcoming as a Star Trek fan base. It's crazy. It's just from online. I noticed it before I even started doing these these Comic-Cons. Like just, and also, speaking for myself, if I wasn't here, I'd be sitting right there. You know, like I'm that much of a geek, so not that geek's a bad thing anymore, right? It's a good thing. I'm proud to be a Star Trek geek. And I didn't realize how welcoming, not only is the fans super welcoming, but everybody on every Star Trek show, and I'm not kidding, every person I've met from all of the shows, super welcoming. And just welcome to the family, welcome to this crazy thing that you're about to embark on. It's great. It's my favorite thing about this whole event.
I feel really privileged to be part of this world. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that much about it before I got on the show. I'd watched the oldest Star Treks, and so I was really quite surprised at the actual universe that has been created by the shows and by the people that love them. And I just really appreciate being here and appreciate how much you guys get out of this world and these characters. It's an honor. So yeah, thank you.
I very much reiterate what Elias and Janet have said, that first and foremost, I had no idea of the culture and the epic nature of the fan base, because I didn't have very much of a history with the show. I was completely blown away by the response, and it has been such a joy. This is just my third, but why I keep doing conventions is because it's such a joy to meet you all. You're all bring so much generosity and warmth and enthusiasm that it's very thrilling to feel the response.
Yeah, I always knew the Star Trek fan base was massive. I wish I prepared myself more, because there was a time. This is a funny story. There was a time I was outside my apartment and I just took a shower and just in a bathrobe. I'm just crazy like that. So I came out because my friend was taking an Uber and I was helping him look for the Uber. I'm like, it's over there, and I'm yelling and people are looking at me just half naked in my bathrobe. And one guy walked across and he stops and he's like, hey, I know you. You're on TV. Yeah, you're the. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, yeah, it's me. Yeah, Star Trek. Yeah, just don't tell anybody that I'm out here like this, man. He's like, I see you. I'm like, yeah, we made that clear that you saw me. Just keep it moving, man. All right. Thanks for the love, though. And then I went back inside. Keep watching.
Well, speaking of fans, a lot of the actors we've talked to have talked about how once they were cast in Star Trek, they found out just how many Star Trek fans they had in their life. Did you have any surprising friends or family come out of the woodwork as Trekkies when they found out you were in the show?
Yes. My best friend's mom, I did not know she was one of the biggest Star Trek fans. And when she found out that I booked the role, she came all the way, I live in Toronto, she came all the way from Brampton, which is like an hour out, and she came just to give me a hug and to hype me up, and I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't know you were such a big fan. So anytime I get like a prop, a souvenir, I bring it back and I offer it to her, because she's been like a second mom to me. So the fact that she's so proud of me, it just, I don't know, it made me realize how special this thing really is to people. So that hit home for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I live in a very small community in southern Ontario, and there's been a number of people that have very enthusiastically responded to some of the posts I've made, and I even had a guy at the dog park ask me if he could have my Vulcan ears. And I delivered, so.
And then he gave them to his dog.
I've had a lot of my students come to my classes with, photographs and memorabilia that they would like to be signed. My family, not so much. My kids, I'm almost cool now to my kids. Like I'm verging on maybe being cool, but no hidden family Star Trekkers in my life. No.
For me, we're all Star Trek nerds, so I was sending. The first thing you see when you walk on the Star Trek set is no pictures. And I don't think there is an order in my life that I have disobeyed more than no pictures. I think I took 10,000 pictures. And so I went the opposite direction. And I just was, they're gonna kill me. But I was emailing my family, just like, look, it's the Enterprise, look, it's a Jeffries tube. I was just like totally freaking out, because they're all, giant Star Trek fans. Because that's how it came to me. It was all through my dad and his brothers, my uncles, and they would watch it religiously. So yeah, no surprise Star Trek fans, just obvious ones.
Was there a big, one notable reaction maybe when you delivered the news?
I think everybody was like, cool. Like I would walk on these sets and I'd be like, yeah, this is the Enterprise. Cool. And then deep down I'm like, are you bullshitting me? Freaking out. So yeah, I don't know, I still don't know how to react to it. Like I'll watch the show, I'll meet everybody, you guys, and I was like, this is so weird. Because like I said, I would honestly be right there. I used to come to these cons. I used to come to these cons and pay to come in. Now I'm getting paid. So I'm not complaining. It's very cool.
Jenna, you mentioned teaching. You mentioned your students. We all know the stereotypical gift for teachers from students is an apple. Have you gotten more or less apples since your infamous scene with Admiral Vance?
I don't know how to answer that question.
That's probably appropriate.
No, go for it.
Well, maybe this is springing something on you all, but this is called the Let's Fly panel, which is, of course, Michael Burnham's go phrase or captain phrase. If you all got to captain a starship, what would your go phrase be? I know you've thought about this, Elias.
Oh, I haven't. Man, that's a good question. I think, so on that video I was telling you about that I made when I was a kid, the Star Trek one, it was a kind of a comedy Star Trek thing that we did, and I was the captain, and my thing was, Thunderbirds are go. That was my thing. This is very esoteric nowadays. Nobody's going to know what that means, but that's what it was. But I don't know if I would use that. Now I'd be like, where's Maul? That's all I care about.
I think I would just say, go, 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 go faster. Let's go upside down. Let's play around in this machine.
Let's go upside down.
Let's go upside down, right? Go, go, go.
I would say what Olatunde would always say to me when he was directing me. He would say, Vulcanize it.
That's a really good question because me and David Thomason, who plays Linus on Discovery, him and I, when cameras are rolling, we're constructing our own side stories. It's like, when we're done on USS Discovery, we're gonna run our own ship. We'll both be captains, 50-50. We're gonna call it Black Dragon. I'll be the black, you be the dragon. And we'll have these cool bikes, and we'll call them lizards. It's gonna be so sick, and we're gonna pitch it to the showrunners and everything. We're gonna get that spin-off. It's gonna be a comedy. It's gonna be about a heist. But if I would have a catchphrase, the catchphrase I say to all my friends before we go work out, before we leave the house, before we do anything or go on a mission, I'm just like, let's get it! Get everyone hype.
Hashtag make Black Dragon happen.
Make Black Dragon happen.
No, should we open it up to the audience? And we'd love to hear from you. Do you folks have any questions for our wonderful guests today?
Just line up off to the left here. We've got a mic for everybody.
All right.
Ready. I'm going to give you a heads up, sorry.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Hey,
Blessed.
I'm just letting my compadres come through. That's all.
Just switch on it, too.
no pressure, guys. We're all staring at you.
Sorry, y'all. I work in fast food times every day. I just want to say I love y'all. Thank you so much for Discovery. I am definitely one of those people who did not see the series finale yet because I was at work, and then I had to come here today, so I didn't have time to watch it. But I do want to say, when it comes to season 3 of Discovery, I will defend season 3 of Discovery and Osira to the day I die. Osira is such a G. Every time I defend her, I get so much hate, I do not care. That's my girl, with the exception of when you killed your nephew, because I thought he was pretty attractive, and I was kind of mad about that. But I'm gonna let it slide, I'm gonna let it slide. So I just want to ask you, what was your favorite aspect of playing Osira? And I also want to say, I also loved you in Office, what was it, Operation Christmas Drop on Netflix. Loved it.
That's a whole other switch. For me, being Osira was the first time I'd ever acted in full prosthetics. And I found a real beautiful freedom in being behind that mask. I think my favorite moment was defiling the chair. Like that, I had no idea the amount of intense sort of respect and admiration people had for the captain's chair. The actors that work on that set don't even touch it. I did. I was like, well, Osira is just going to get in it and stick her leg up on it and start moving around, and you could hear the set just kind of go, ooh. So I think for me, that was the most fun. That was the most standout moment, because I really had no idea the negative effect it would have on many, many people. I've had people at cons going, I don't want your autograph because you're a bitch. Osira was a bitch. And it's like, job well done then, I guess. Yeah. So that would be it.
So my question is for Elias. I see you wearing a KO shirt.
They talk wrestling now?
If Locke had a finishing move, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question.
And do you have a wrestling persona that you
So,
want to play?
this is the truth. For about 4 months, I trained to be a pro wrestler. I had a ring, and I had my character was Twisted Steel. That was his name. And my tag team partner was Sex Appeal. So we were Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal. And the joke being, I am not Twisted Steel, and he had no sex appeal. Because we were bad guys. Of course, we were bad guys. I only play bad guys. What would Locke's finishing move be? Man, that's a good question. It'd be something. Wait, he can turn himself into jelly. So it'd be some sort of hold, like a figure 4 leg lock, but like he twists it back, like a Boston crab mixed with a leg lock, something like that. And we talk wrestling a lot. Yeah, that's cool. One thing I will say, it was very hard to fight in the Locke get-up. Like in the Breen costume, it was like a nightmare. You guys wear the Breen costume, didn't you? Did you wear the Breen costume? No, you didn't. It was a nightmare to wear that thing, because it's like, okay, punch, and you're like, and you can't really turn it. And then the makeup was really heavy, and the head was really heavy. So it's hard to fight, so I don't know. Maybe his move would just be a sleeper hold, just like, look, I can't do anything else. Something like that.
I just want to say, to anybody who didn't understand it, that's what it's like for everybody else when we talk about Star Trek. That is what it's like.
You see, Cody Rhodes won at 41.
Exactly.
Hi, this is also for Janet. First, I love your shoes, but that's not my question, but they're really cool. My question is, I see that you had a role in a film about J.K. Rowling, and I was wondering if you could just comment a little bit on what you did in that film.
Yeah, I played J.K. Rowling's mom, and she died of MS when she was in her 40s, and J.K. Rowling was kind of at the height of her new celebrity when we made that film, and it was just a really nice thing to be a part of, because she had created the Harry Potter legends out of nothing. She was a single mom. She was a desperate sort of single mom. I came from a single parent family. I am a single mom, so it's just really nice to be able to support a human in that way, and to have her story told like that. And it was just a really cool thing to be a part of. My kids were really young at that point, and I made the mistake of watching it with them, and they didn't like the fact that I had other children. They found that really, really tricky. And when I died, it took a long time for them to get over that. It was a really sad thing to watch them go, and it's like, I'm here. But it was a lovely thing to be a part of, to tell that story and really, celebrate J.K. Rowling and all the hard work that she put into creating her, fabulous success story. Yeah. Thank you.
How did your kids feel about Osiris?
Like I said, she's kind of cool, you know? Their friends thought she was cool, so they're like, okay, yeah, we'll give you like a little bit of coolness, yeah.
I just want to say Osiris is great because she was playing the personification of the ultimate enemy of Star Trek, capitalism. And just to play off of that, I was wondering if you could help. There's a myth on the internet that for 10, 12 episode seasons, they actually spread the production out the entire year to make it easier on you. But I was wondering, is the production schedule like the same per episode where you're only working like, so I heard you're only working half a year. The Toronto stage group, like discussion boards, are saying that a lot of things is like dead up there now. And I was just wondering how things are going, like up in Canada and for the careers as far as working in the new short season streaming world.
So just generally, it's a very weird time right now. The strike messed up a lot of stuff, and everything is shorter. Like you said, everyone's kind of, I work a lot in games, and everybody's getting fired in games, and it's a really it's a very odd time. And yeah, I wish we worked back in the days where we had 23 episodes to shoot, right? Instead of 10 or 12. But I don't know enough about it to know why. It's obviously financial and streaming and all this stuff going on.
But it seems like, I find it such a conundrum because people are making a lot of money on, there's so many streaming services, people are watching it. So I'm not quite sure, but we're making feature films, well, small films in like 15 days now, as opposed to 3 months or 6 months. Everything is being whittled down to the bare minimum. It is a really strange time to be an actor. I can't speak to what it's like in the States, but certainly since the strike in Canada, it's like a wasteland right now.
It's like that, it's like that in the US too.
There are shows all over the place, but
So they're taking revenge against the strikers, against the unions, and
yeah, it's like
maybe,
it's.
who knows?
And I think I don't know. It feels like it might have changed forever in a way. I'm not quite sure what the future holds now, but I think
we'll be doing Star Trek conventions for the rest of our lives.
see you here next year.
We'll keep you employed.
I have something for each one of you. First of all, thank you so much for being the antithesis of your character, your energy. I'm sorry, we could thank you. We are all jealous of you. You've gotten more Doug hugs than anyone else. Osira, thank you. Just thank you for giving us a character that we could jump up off the couch and scream and hate. And don't worry, when people die in Star Trek, they're not really dead.
Hey, he's still in the transport buffet. He's still there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Can you all tell us what was your favorite episode that you were in, or a favorite scene that you did?
My favorite scene was when I'm negotiating. When I'm sitting around the table eating the fruit, which turns out to be shit. And getting up and actually having one-on-one was a fantastic few days on set that we just focused on that one scene. So that was great for me. Yeah, episode 12, I think that was.
I don't know that I can definitively say what was my favorite scene. I certainly enjoyed aspects of season 5 when Trina was asked to negotiate with the brain. That was really
so
exciting to explore. And I don't think we've really seen her. We've seen her certainly in a diplomatic capacity, but not sort of helming. And I just also really loved all the delicate, tender, soft, blooming romance scenes with Doug. They were just so. I really loved the meditation scene early on. I think that was season 4. So, yeah.
I would say for me, it was in season 4 when we visited the 10C planet. That was such a sick day for me on set. One, because I've always dreamed of working on an AR wall, and we worked on one, and it was in Brampton, where I kind of grew up when I moved to Canada, and I'm in my hometown filming Star Trek on an AR wall, this is too surreal. What made it even more what made it more my favorite scene was that how they decked it, and once they put on all the monitors, it actually felt like we're on a floating rock. Like, it created an illusion that so much that people had to take like vertigo pills because they were getting nauseous. And I'm like, this is so sick. And everyone's like, how are you okay? Because I'm like, this is what my dream looks like. Every time I close my eyes and go to bed, I'm on a red planet spinning. And there's a monster right there. So it was like a beautiful moment for me. That was like my favorite day on set. I was having a field day.
Yeah, my thing was on the AR wall too, my favorite stuff, but because all the flashback stuff with the brain, I can explain it like this really quickly, is that I play a lot of bad guys on TV, and 9 times out of 10, somebody else explains why I'm evil, or I have one line, like my dad was mean to me, or something. It was very, very simplistic, and when I first was given the role, it was just villain. I didn't know anything about it. And then they told me, no, we're going to explain why, and I thought it would be some character explaining it, or they're going through Block's file or something like that. But to actually be able to go back and shoot at exactly what happened to get him and Maul to where they are, that was great. So all that brain stuff, all that stuff in the past with his uncle, and really trying to get the emotion through that mask was difficult. And the one note I got on set more than any note was bigger. Because I consider myself kind of like a naturalistic actor, like a subtle actor, and they were just bigger. And I remember having a conversation with Tunde saying like, okay, I'll go bigger, but you have to promise me you're not letting me get melodramatic, because I feel like I'm getting melodramatic. I feel like I'm playing like a soap opera. And he's like, I promise I will not use any soap opera takes, I'll use a good take. And he did, to their credit, not only Tunde, but the director of that episode, Jen McGowan, she was great too. They all promised me that they would take care of me, and they did. And sometimes you just gotta trust other people, because I felt like I was overacting the whole time, but I was getting through that makeup. It was very tricky, but so maybe shooting it wasn't as great because I was nervous, but watching it was very, and the validation there was like, oh, okay, this is my favorite stuff that we did in that season because of that stuff.
Thank you all.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just have 2 observations. Ms. Rosling, I think you do a wonderful job of walking a very difficult line between the emotional and the Vulcan. And if you went too emotional, people wouldn't believe it. And if you went too Vulcan, then we just figure, well, what does she see in Saru? So I just want to congratulate you on a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
And Ms. Kidder, I just think your character has entered the echelon, a very rarefied field of evil women in Star Trek. You're up there with, of course, the Borg Queen, maybe the Duras sisters, and certainly Kai Wynn. And unfortunately, most of them all got killed off. And I'm very sorry that your character got killed off. But evil women in Star Trek, Osira is right up there.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. As much as I wish I had a question for the green people, this is for Tara and Orville, because you were in the final episode with the 10C, and I know this is kind of a dicey question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I don't know how much either one of you follow U.S. politics, but how did you feel about, were you aware of who Stacey Abrams was when they cast her as the president of Earth?
No.
No.
I didn't know. That's the short answer.
Do you know who she is now?
No.
Okay. She ran for governor of the state of Georgia twice and lost. And, well, yeah. And she is extremely instrumental in getting people to register to vote in this country, particularly people of color. And she actually can be credited with giving us 2 Democratic U.S. senators from the very conservative southern state of Georgia. President Abrams. So Google her. If you're bored in your hotel room tonight, Google her. It was pretty cool, and she was a Star Trek fan, so her only request was not to know anything about the storyline. Anyway, that's that.
Thank you. Yeah, there was a great deal of enthusiasm from Sonequa, from Jayla, about having her on set. Sonequa?
Oh, Sonequa. Yeah, she was amazing.
If the Federation split into like 4 sections, red uniforms, blue uniforms, yellow uniforms, and miscellaneous uniforms, and had like a war, who do you think would win and why?
Not the red.
Miscellaneous, what?
The red shirt would not win. The red shirt. Even though I know Picard wears it.
Anyone wearing white or like admirals, like not red, yellow, or blue, like black and white.
So green?
Yeah.
Green?
Yep.
I would want to wear green.
I would say anyone in Section 31 is winning that war. So the black uniform all the way.
Yeah, that's true. So what?
Well, I just want to, Elias, how long did makeup take for you?
About 4.5 hours every day. Except if I had to do my hands, it was an extra, like almost 2 hours. But it's funny, because when I got the role, that's the first question I asked, how long? And then I kind of realized that's the first question everyone asks. But I kind of realized that that's not the difficult part, because I'm not working. I show up at 2:30 in the morning and I basically fall asleep, and they do all this stuff on me. They're the ones working. They're the ones who have to be there at 2:30 and paint me and do this wonderful art. The harder stuff is wearing it all day. Wearing it for a further 12 hours and fighting it, like I said, and trying to make out. It's not easy. Stuff like that is all that stuff is much more difficult than the only thing that's difficult about that is just getting up at 2:30 in the morning to work. But I was saying I did like 2 full days with David Cronenberg on the set, and I asked him all these questions, we had these great conversations, and only recently did I realize I could see him on the street, you would have no idea who he was. Because he never saw me. I got there super early and I left super late. So yeah, he has no idea what I look like.
He probably loved having conversations with a green lob. Janet, how long did makeup take for you?
Yeah, 4 hours, 4 to 4.5 hours every day. And then like an hour getting it off at the end of the day as well. Because they have to do it slowly, otherwise it leaves your skin really red and
I tore my shit off all the time.
I tried really hard to not do that because all you want to do is rip it off your face. Yeah, but again, I just want to say kudos to the artist, to the makeup artist, because you would get there, of course, way before anyone else was there, because you had this process you had to undergo. And I got to sit in a chair and have some coffee or like meditate or sleep, and they had to be on point from the moment they started to the moment they finished. So the hard work was definitely
That's kind
there.
of a forgotten point. It's almost like, how do you feel dealing with, and I asked the same question, so it's not like a weird question. It is a legitimate question, but I'm like, no, those guys were working.
They were the ones that were working. And then, yeah, you know, it's I'm not saying like it's a total breeze, because it's not. You have to sit in certain positions and all that stuff, but the majority of the time, it's not difficult to have makeup put on you. It's just, yeah.
Unless you're slightly claustrophobic, then it's what the plaster.
Vomit or something.
Remember the plaster thing? Yeah, when you have to get plaster to mold your face, that's like an hour sitting.
That's the worst part of braces too, is that.
Yeah, like that, except all over your face. Yeah, except that, yeah.
Tara, how long did makeup take for you?
Trina's total processing time was 3 hours. Yeah, which is surprising, right? Because I had much less in terms of prosthetics. But yeah, from start to finish, 3 hours. And I definitely ripped my ears off a number of times at the end of the day. And I go home, I'm driving and pulling like glue boogers off my ears.
I actually got to keep a pair of my ears, so I had a set of Osiris ears at home.
Everyone's keeping their ears.
Right? Ears are good. My cat really wants to eat the ears, but I've managed to keep my little green ears on the mantle. Yeah.
And then Orville, you want to
5 minutes.
How does part of your day?
5 minutes. Have my coffee, smile, pat, 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 move, you're done. What? Okay.
We'll let you guys beat them down.
I really have a question from the audience.
No, he's just
Oh, okay. So Discovery is a very unique series in Star Trek, let alone a unique series on its own. With being a part of it and with being a part of the larger Star Trek universe, what do you hope people take away as they watch this over the years? And as added, it's a divisive show, and attitudes are going to change as time goes on. What do you most hope somebody takes away while watching your show?
Right, what every Star Trek show is about. It's about diversity, and it's about coming together, and it's about like Star Trek started out as like a moral place, essentially. Every episode was, this is what the moral of our story is. And Roddenberry started out, and Roddenberry was very, quote unquote, woke from the beginning. So the argument of bothers the hell out of me, this like accusatory tone of like, Discovery is woke, or this is, it bothers the hell out of me, because that's what Star Trek has always been. It's always been about, I mean, whether you want to call it political correctness, or if it goes too far or whatever, but the core of it, like there's arguments to be made for all of that, but the core of it is about coming together as a species, so to speak, or as not species, unless you're a progenitor, they're all different species. But coming together as people, as aliens, as characters, to work together to further ourselves, right? That's what Star Trek is about. So people that complain about it, the divisiveness of it, it's starting to really piss me off. And I really have to get off Twitter. Like, I really have to get off Twitter.
Well, we love you there. We love your posts.
I really have to stop, though, guys. It's like...
I want to piggyback off of what you just said, because I truly believe that Star Trek is about family and unity. That's a huge scope. That's what we all want in the world, for all of us to work together for the betterment of the human race. Now, that's really difficult to sit down 7+ billion people and have them all agree on how this should run. But I'd say Discovery teaches you to start with a group of people that you can trust, that has different traits that you can complement each other with, because none of our missions would have succeeded without the help of an individual from the team. I'm telling you, you guys saw it. Sonequa almost died like 100 million times. If Culber didn't save her, if Tilly didn't save her, if she didn't have anyone on her team with a specific set of skills, she wouldn't have made it. And she wouldn't have made it to the very end and see her full mission all the way through. And because she had people who she trusted, loved, respected, and talented individuals that wanted to work together, that's the reason why we made it so far. So I think we could just start there. Just find a group of people and expand from there.
I would just say that I hope people take away from it whatever they need to take away from it, and the fact that it speaks to so many people, I think, is just a testament to all that it has to offer in terms of universal themes, but certainly in terms of we are all one. And I have this great shirt, the new Be Kind shirt. That's certainly something that. That Discovery embodies on all levels.
I guess the celebration of all that we can be, that we might want to be, but maybe we think we shouldn't be. The celebration of diversity and inclusion, I guess, is what I hope that they would take away from Star Trek, because every character on there is really going for. Even Osira, she did not very good things, but she did them because she wanted to protect her people. And so I think this sort of the morality of most of the people on the show, the dedication, the passion to their races, to their cause, is something that perhaps we could take away with us a little bit.
All right, well, yes, thank you. We've come to our final question, and the show is Discovery. So I'm wondering, being on the show, either working with the crew or embodying the character you became, what did you discover about yourself being on Star Trek?
I mean, like, for me, it's just, okay, it's not exactly inspiring. It's just literally like, okay, I learned I can have patience with sitting there for 4 hours and then sitting there waiting to wait. One thing is Discovery does, and a lot of TV shows do this, is they shoot a lot. And there's a lot of it where I'm like, you guys don't need to shoot this. Can I go home? like really, you don't need this shot. So it was patience for me. But that was more of a technical thing. in terms of, I don't know, like, well, how the show Star Trek's always just inspired me in that same way that everybody said on stage, just inspired to do better. Right? That's the thing you love about Star Trek. Like, I love all sorts of sci-fi, and there's like hard sci-fi that I like, and depressing sci-fi that I like sci-fi in the 70s, where every movie ended in a terrible, terrible tragedy, or the more hopeful sci-fi like Star Trek, and that's why I think people take to it. So yeah, I mean, Discovery is just in that vein, right? In that mold of like hope. That's what it is.
For me, as an actor, I think the technical aspect of working behind prosthetics was something that I would love to do forever, because I took bigger risks and I was freer as an actor, less judgmental or concerned about my things, because I was behind a mask. And leaving that show after doing that has given me the sort of the impetus, the courage to be able to take those chances when I am not behind a mask. And I really appreciate that. And I love how much I loved working with prosthetics. I would do it again in a second. It was so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah, just if I could speak to that really quickly, it does, because I always, every actor I think does this, like, I don't like this angle of my face, I don't like this, I don't look like this, or I'm under the mask, you're like, I don't care, this is great, you can look at me whatever you want, because it's not really me, so it's true, I did feel that too.
I discovered that I really love wearing Vulcan haute couture. But what I did, I discovered a different realm in terms of Tara the actor, because up until most of my career, I am a hyper-emotional human being, and I've been cast in many very dramatic parts historically. So it was a completely new character for me to explore, and I discovered that I loved sort of living on top or corseting the emotional world and being forced or invited to live through the world of specifically of the mind, of the logic. So that was very exciting and challenging and deeply rewarding.
The thing I discovered, I think I'm still discovering in myself, is still a journey for me. What I discovered was from watching Sonequa and David Ajala. From watching Sonequa, I truly discovered what it truly meant to be a leader. Because as an actor, or just as a human being, but I'll speak on acting more because most of my friends are in the industry and want to reach the pinnacle of their career, and the pinnacle of their career is just being a lead. But I think we all shoot for it, but we don't really know what that mantle requires of us. And it's like, because we're looking at the short-sightedness of it. Being a good lead means being a good leader. And watching Sonequa on set every day of how she carries and changes the energy of the entire cast and crew. I'm telling you, we're on hour 13 and everyone just had, cheesecake donuts from the donut truck. I don't know who ordered the cheesecake donuts at 2 a.m. in the morning when we were doing an explosion scene, but it was a bad idea. But Sonequa knew that the energy is falling and she can come and bring it back up, and it's like we refresh and we're starting the day again. And she's a really good leader because she just makes everyone smile. She comes around, gives everyone a fist pound before we start, and really energizes everyone. And watching David Ajala was really inspiring to me as an actor because his focus is incredible. Like, everyone is like, having a great time on set before the cameras roll. David is so serious. He's doing squats, he's doing push-ups, he's yelling, he's getting into the mood. As soon as action comes on, I swear to you, one time I was just looking because I wasn't on camera, it was just him, his close-up. I swear to you, he was doing this, and Tunde yelled action, and he went, and it was the most beautiful moment. I almost shed a tear. I'm just like, these are the two people, I almost saw them as like my set parents, where David Ajala is a strong father figure and Sonequa was a loving mother, and I want to take both of those energies and incorporate it in my craft. So that's something I'm still discovering myself, how to be a great leader and how to be a focused, determined, and strong actor. And I'm so grateful that I got to witness these two beautiful and amazing artists on the show.
That's fantastic. Thank you, everybody. And remember, the lessons from our characters: find your family, find true love, fight for your people, don't do too many drugs. All right.